So here we have another Sonny Rollins record. A bit different than the last record I shared with you, which was Saxophone Colossus, in that this is a trio with Max Roach and Oscar Pettiford. So he's got an amazing rhythm section with him. This record is the Freedom Suite, and it is about three musicians within the tradition of the structure of how they've created music in the 1950s being free. The idea of being free or bringing it forward based on Sonny's political stance, which Orrin Keepnews actually discusses in the liner notes of this record. This is a salient record, particularly in the times that we're living in, because here's a musician who's speaking up. And it's hard to speak up because sometimes people misinterpret musicians who speak up. Sometimes people think it should just come out through the horn. But I believe in this case here it was appropriate for him to put his 2 cents into what was happening in the United States at that time, relative to the type of record he created. So to me it's significant. Actually, the part of the significance is the Freedom Suite, which is a one-piece long form on side 1 and then a bunch of standards on side 2. But I want to read you this. America is deeply rooted in Negro culture, its colloquialisms, its humor, its music. How ironic that the Negro, who more than any other people can claim America's culture as his own, is being persecuted and repressed. That the Negro, who has exemplified the humanities in his very existence, is being rewarded with inhumanity. Now, Keepnews is trying to tiptoe his way through the liner notes on that idea, but the music is undeniable. So to me, this is a spiritual record coming from a different direction. Yes, we're here to tolerate. Yes, we're here to transcend through creation. But sometimes we need to directly rebut what's happening. And so Sonny Rollins is a progenitor of this in light of what was going to happen in the 1960s. He's an important figure in that regard. So check out this record, Freedom Suite, Oscar Pettiford, Max Roach. So again, going off track a little bit here, folks, with something that is jazz informed, but not quite, as we say, in the pocket. The barrio informs jazz in very interesting ways, and Mel Bear is one of these people that from the barrio that informs jazz in a unique way. This record here, very rare. People know of it. I think aficionados know this record, but it's a Latin swinger, and there's some standards on this record that are hipped up and grooved up beautifully, but in a very subtle, beautiful, almost impressionistic way. You have vibes, a beautiful mix of percussion on this record. Very key to records like this is the sound man integrating percussion into the record in a way where it does take the fore, but not obstructing the ability for the rest of the music to breathe. So the engineers during this period who were doing this sort of music, because it was kind of a new thing at that time, should be credited with doing a wonderful job. True Sound actually made a lot of records kind of like this, kind of cross genre orientated records that were really interesting. Anything on True Sound, grab it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. One of the reasons why I wanted to share this record with you. So yes, you have tunes like Summertime. It's groovy. Another interpretation of just an evergreen that you can never get tired of. But for myself, I would say there are certain tunes, standards over the years that I've tried to collect. I may have 1,000 copies of certain tunes. Because I always wanted to hear how people interpret a tune that would just be so marvelous, like a Gershwin tune, like a Summertime, Ebb Tide, any of the standards, the evergreens from that period that could be informed with different instrumentation, different rhythmic elements, different harmonic feeling as well. So records like this play into that kind of idea. Yes, you could play this at a party. Yes, you could be in your car driving, or you could just actually be hanging around your house and listening to this record as well. So Mel Bear, kind of in the Bobby Montez thing, not quite as assertive of a record as that. But don't snooze. Give any True Sound or any one of Mel Bear record a shot. You may also want to realize that Eric Dolphy played with the Latin Jazz Quintet at a certain point as well. I will reserve comment on those records until you guys find them, and you can tell me what you think. Peace. Greetings, everybody. I'm back again to speak with you about more records. And it's a beautiful day here in Manhattan. It's like 60 degrees. Yeah, anybody who thinks it's global warming, just go with it, folks. Enjoy the weather. Anyhow, today, Joe Henderson is on the radar. This Inner Urge, one of my favorite Joe Henderson records. Joe Henderson is a marvel. Very unselfconsciously evolving as a musician based on his own terms without trying to be an innovator. Took everything in, and it incubated into what we have here, which is just a beautiful collision of New York City. There's Latin rhythm here. The interesting thing is Elvin Jones is on this record, and McCoy as well, and they do push Henderson into certain directions, but this record is just a seminal 1960s Blue Note, one of his greatest records, I believe, in the masterpiece zone, as well as some of the others I've presented to you folks in the past. But without getting into technical details with this record, it's one that should definitely be on the radar. Joe Henderson did not sell a lot of records when he moved to New York City. He fell in with Blue Note. He was on a number of amazing sessions. He finally was able to do his own sessions. But these records did not sell a lot. And his name was not, pasted all over as an iconic figure like Coltrane, Rollins, or some of the other boys back in the day. So his position was not where it should have been or could have been at that time. That being said, over time, he does command that position. By the time he was making records for Blue Note in the 80s, even the milestones of Blue Note period, his position is elevating to the point of being one of the most influential jazz tenor players in the history of modern jazz. So I recommend this record highly. Don't snooze, Joe Henderson.